Hello humans, it's just Martine and welcome to another Recent Reads. In today's Recent Reads, I have 5 books to share with you that I've read pretty recently. I'm going to go from lowest rated to highest rated and tell you what you need to know in hopes that you'll find a book you're looking for. Now the lowest of this is a bit sad because it's a NetGalley arc. Well, it's a NetGalley arc, except that it's not really an arc because it's already come out, and the reason that I got it is because the second book is about to come out, and that arc was available, so I grabbed both. I was like, I'll read the first one, then I'll read the second one, and that's Phases of the Moon by Joseph Bastian, and I gave this 2.5 stars. I will still read the second one, but I felt bad leaving a review that was like, because of the fact that it's a NetGalley review for me. I did a pretty extensive review, well, in comparison to just my 5 things, and I also copy and pasted it onto Goodreads. So if you're really that curious, it's there. It's a middle grade book. The pacing was weird, whatever. And next, with 3 stars, I have Jay's Gay Agenda by Jason June. It was just okay. I was really stressed because the main character, Jay, was making a ton of bad decisions and I knew it would come back to bite him in the butt. But I do understand that as part of growing up, sometimes it just makes reading YA books super stressful because you're like, that's a really immature choice that could have saved you from so many things. But I get it. I did love the main love interest, so mission accomplished. But that does mean I felt bad for him. Albert was a cutie pie. He was so pure and good and great, and I loved him. This book is about Jay. He's moving from this small podunk town to Seattle, and he's like, I've been the only gay kid in this town my whole life. Now I'm gonna be free with the gays. So he makes this gay agenda of things he wants to do now that there will be other queer kids around him. It had great discussions about best friends living in different places, a feeling I can relate to. And specifically about the idea that friends, when you're apart, you still care about each other, but you're not really around for milestones and how that's uncomfortable and painful and you have to get used to it. So I did appreciate that. Albert, I loved. Tony, I hated from the second I met him, and all my feelings were justified. He was a skis. The weird movie date he brought Jay on was gross, and I just didn't like his vibe. This is another one of those books that actually has really good parents in it, so if you're looking for a YA with positive parents, here you go. If you're looking for more queer literature, just want to eat as much of it as you can, no matter what, especially from an own voices author, yum yum yum. Lots of queer characters. Max, I think his name was genderqueer, and I think Jason June is 2. Moving on, just a little better. With a 3.5, we have To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. It would be a 4, but it was entirely too long. There's especially one set of like big battle sequences that I literally thought would last forever, and they made me space out. Pun intended. The premise of this book, because I'm sure you maybe seen it around, but you're like, I don't know what it's about. It's about this xenobiologist, and her name is Kira, and she accidentally finds and melds with an alien life force and triggers a huge war. That's it, but for 800 pages. The world building was incredibly creative and very detailed, but it was too overwhelming for me. Well, I know there were appendices in the back of the audiobook, but those weren't going to be helpful, and any other back matter that could have been helpful wasn't because I was listening to it on audiobook. There are resources out there to help you understand, especially the website. The website was really cool. I looked at it afterwards. I didn't know it was there, but I looked at it afterwards and it has all these interactive elements, including character art, and looking through the character art was actually really cool. So if you're dedicated and like motivated enough to really try and get what's going on, then I'd recommend the website wholeheartedly. It has explanations of every character, alien species, galaxy, religion, all those things. It has it all. And it also has a choose your own adventure book that's like built into it that you can do, which I might still do because I did find the universe fascinating and it was too much too fast. And sitting there and trying to understand is not really why I read for fun. So I have things I have to study when I read for school enough. So this was a read and run situation. There are 2 characters that I wanted to talk about because they stole my heart. The first is Trig, who is a member of this one spaceship's crew. He's a teenager. I already forget the name of this particular spaceship, but it was a very found family situation. And Trig was just lovely to read about. He was like a little rapscallion, younger than everyone else on the crew, just a little mischievous. He was, for some reason, always eating ration bars. My heart just hurt for him a little. But I think my favorite character was Grigorovich, the ship mind. And it's hard to explain ship mind, so I won't try to, but he was funny and very weird. And he said things that were just insane, and I loved reading about it. That's on that. My next one, I'm going to go with a 4 stars that was like not surprisingly a 4 stars for me, and then I'll go for one that I was like not necessarily expecting to enjoy as much. So the one I was totally expecting to love was The Stranger Beside Me by Anne Rule, which comes highly recommended by Bailey, who gave it 5 stars. I gave it 4. I had so much fun talking to Bailey while I was reading this. Read her Goodreads review, sis, he's dangerous. And I did learn a few new things about Ted Bundy while reading this, which was cool because I already knew quite a bit about Ted Bundy. I'm from Florida, and there were a lot of towns in Florida, many of which I've been to, where Ted Bundy was for a while, you would say. I also liked all the follow-up chapters that were updated because the actual book itself, when originally written, ended like right after he'd been sentenced, but it took a long time for Ted Bundy to get executed because that's how the death penalty works. There were several updates. Like a few years later, she updated because she'd gotten a few more letters from him. The next year she updated, she got a few more letters. Finally, stay of execution wore out. She really got good closure on it. The reason this is a cool book about Ted Bundy is because Anne Rule is a very popular and well-known true crime author, but she actually knew Ted Bundy. She had a book deal for the disappearances of these girls, and only after she already had a book deal for it did Ted Bundy become a suspect, and a prime suspect at that, in all these cases. So imagine that. Imagine being like, I have a book deal to write about these crimes that haven't been solved yet. Uh-oh, they're accusing someone I used to work with and someone I still talk to. And so it's crazy. She details all of the letters she sent to Ted, he sent to her when he was in jail or prison and what have you. And it was a pretty good time, but it wasn't like life-changing in any way. And finally, I have City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, which I went in really skeptical about, but I did give it 4 stars. Hashtag all the stories are true. I never thought I would like Shadowhunters, but I think a couple interesting things came into play for me enjoying it. One, I actually liked like the pacing and the flow. I was wanting to pick it up, which is not always the case for me. And books, I was like choosing it over other books, which was nice, and it was really easy to get through. Additionally, since I took my monsters in fiction class, I've been a lot more open to the idea of urban fantasies, and particularly things with like vampires and werewolves and that type of creature, which before I wasn't. And so I've read a couple books since taking that class about it, and this was like next on the list, and I loved that. I don't want to give anything away, but there was one plot twist in here that made me legitimately furious. Like, I pretty much screamed when it happened. I was so mad. I'm still so mad, and I'm really mad about how it's going to affect the entire rest of the series. And if you've read it, then you probably know. And if you're in the Bookstara read-alongs chat on Discord, then you know because I sent my angry reaction there, and Amy thought it was hilarious. As far as characters go, I love Jace. I love him so much. Paige in the Discord chat called him a, quote, pretentious twaddle, and this exactly explains why I love him. I love pretentious twaddle characters who are like a little bit arrogant and very confident, and they say things and they banter with people, and I love them. So that is on that. He made some choices that I didn't exactly agree with, but on the whole, a lot of the things he said made me like smirk or laugh or smile, and that earns him great rights in my eyes. City of Bones. Who should read City of Bones? I don't know. If you, like, honestly, a lot of people already have. And a lot of other people are probably better inclined to give you good reasons for why you should or should not read the series. It does begin the first series in a very expansive universe, which may be off-putting to some people, especially if you're the kind of person, like one of my friends, if she starts a series, she has to finish it. It's so expansive that, like, if that's you and you have a hint that you may or may not like it, like, maybe don't. But other than that, it's fair game. You know, read the first book, see how you feel. It's got some interesting concepts in it. The world building is cool, and I like some of the characters, but I'm definitely interested to see where the series go. But that one plot twisted. Send me. So those are the 5 books. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below. Have you read any of these books, or which one seems most interesting to you? And subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!